Lies! Deceptions!
Yes, Saw Gerrera is right. We've been lied to. We've been deceived, guys. The Doctor Who creators are not the ones that we like. They changed. But how? And why? And I guess, why is Doctor Who suddenly so different than we were used to, I guess. Anyway, today I'm going to explain that. Today I'm going to go on an adventure where I'll try to discover what happened behind the scenes of the Doctor Who Season 2 series. So let's go. Okay, first of all, I love Doctor Who, and I am not that serious. I just want to discover what happened behind the scenes, and maybe Disney Plus had something to do with it. Obviously, let's talk about this first leak. Apparently, they were supposed to end with some sort of party, and it would pan out to reveal that Susan was watching over them at said party. So this was a different alternate ending to season 2, which was, which is really interesting. Obviously, the Doctor, survived, and Belinda was with him during this party, so it says. And I guess Ruby Sunday was also there, Unit was also there, the Vlinks was going to be like a DJ, which was interesting. I guess very, very interesting rumor. And I suppose Susan was watching over the Doctor in this party. So I've heard there's somebody Composite Who Horrible, which is a Reddit account, I guess. I've heard about / seen the photo. Where is the additional detail coming from about an observing Susan? So there's this guy. I don't know where that specifically came from, but Carolyn Ford was wearing another science fiction-esque outfit in Unleashed, relating to speculation that she filmed another scene. Yes, that's true. I saw that. Yeah, I guess she was in a white costume, but there was also another one that I saw. It might have been gone already now, but I'm not quite sure. No idea. Maybe some kind of elaboration, since we know Susan was in the last episode. Yes, clearly she wasn't in the current one, so the one that we watched, she wasn't in that episode, which was quite unfortunate, because I thought Susan's story was going to be explained and further built upon. But now we might never see her again, or we might see her with obviously the 16th Doctor, played by Billie Piper herself. So yes, actually this YouTube video released a few days ago, where every regeneration of the Doctor was featured in. And in the end, we had Ncuti Gatwa regenerating into, obviously, Billie Piper. And yes, she is now currently the 16th Doctor. If she is in this video, it is actually explains that she is obviously the official 16th Doctor, which obviously makes a lot of fans happy, because a lot of fans didn't know that she was actually the 16th Doctor. But I don't think they'll change it. Obviously, I think the 16th Doctor will be played by Billie Piper, and I think the story of Bad Wolf and the parting of the ways and the Meta-Crisis Doctor will be explained further more. And obviously we have David Tennant as the 14th Doctor, still roaming around on Earth. So Russell T Davies might bring him back, but Russell T Davies also said that the 14th Doctor might have died in some kind of volcano, or I don't know. But I guess this was originally not the plan. Obviously, like Disney Plus, I do understand that Disney Plus is a corporation. Disney is a corporation that needs money, that also needs new series to have their subscribers actually pay for Disney Plus every month. So they need to produce as many things that they can. And if Doctor Who wasn't sure about the season 3, they pretty much, I think, not really pulled the plug, but I think they waited for the third series, or the season 1 and season 2 to do absolutely great. But I think there was some kind of misstep, like some kind of mistake during obviously the entire production of Doctor Who on Disney's part. I think Disney is a very calculated corporation. And I mean, they do obviously release these live action films, which they know people don't like, but they know that the story that they're telling is obviously, somewhat original, like an original IP. It's much more less expensive to release this live action film than a new film, right? So with a new film, you need new creatives, new people that write stories, and they don't want that. Obviously, they want money, money, and money. So I guess season 3 for Doctor Who being delayed is it's sad. It's really sad. But anyway, all right. There was this article a while ago where Doctor Who's Ncuti Gatwa said, "I'd be so angry if I never got to face a Dalek," which is really sad, I guess. Oh, dude, Ncuti Gatwa was the only doctor. Well, no, he's one of the doctors. I think all of the doctors faced the Daleks before. I think so, yeah. That's quite sad. Holy shit. That's very, very sad. I think Paul McGann never faced the Daleks. But although, yeah, I guess he was partly in the Time War, so I suppose I'm not quite sure. Like in the show, he never faced the Dalek too. But there's this graph, I guess, that I'm going to talk about in just a sec. But there's also this quote underneath it. What on earth would be the point of me being Doctor Who without facing a Dalek? Ah, damn, that's so that hurts, man. That's a bit messed up, man. That's really such a shame that Ncuti Gatwa never faced a Dalek before, because they're pretty much like, without the Daleks, you don't have Doctor Who, right? There's also this other article, Doctor Who star Ncuti Gatwa says season 16 is being filmed next year. The 15th Doctor star speaks about the science fiction future on tonight's Graham Norton show. This was a while ago, I think in November, but no, he didn't. He didn't film season 16 and he didn't make a season 3, which is quite unfortunate, obviously. So let's talk about this graph. This is graph that got released, which obviously says all of the things like the Daleks, the Cyberman, and the Master, and every single Doctor. And we can see that Hartnell never faced the Master before, obviously. Pertwee never faced Cyberman. Like the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th Doctor all faced Cyberman, Daleks, and Masters before. McGann never faced the Daleks and the Cyberman. He did, in fact, meet the Master. Eccleston never met the Cyberman and the Master in the current show, or in the show, I guess. Like, I don't count Big Finish, Audio Adventures. It's just another thing. Like, Smith never faced the Master before. Capaldi and Whittaker all met the Daleks, the Cyberman, and the Master. And Gatwa had none of them, which is so sad. Like, Gatwa should have been the Doctor that, oh man, I would love to see him like meeting a Cyberman, like maybe mentioning like Iron Man, because Gatwa is this upbeat, fresh new Doctor, and it's very sad that he hadn't had the chance to actually meet one of these. Although he met Sutek and he met Omega and the Ranis, but Sutek was a talking dog.
It was a talking dog, you know what I mean?
And I guess the Ranis, well, they were just, a knockoff version of, like, the Master. I'm not quite sure. Like, I hope Mrs. Flood will return, but I'm really not quite sure. And Omega was, I suppose he looked interesting. He very much looked interesting. And I guess his promotional, I guess the art that they made for this episode, before they actually made this episode, the concept art, wow, he looked amazing. But Omega was a huge disappointment. He looked like a skeleton baby. So, yeah. And obviously, we had a discussion on Discord, and there's this guy, so shout out Toby. He said, "I can't wait for the boss to be checks notes of the main classic names not back yet." Ah, yes, the Valeyard. Obviously, the boss from the Time Hotel could be the Valeyard. I mean, as long as the Doctor is alive, the Valeyard is too. So, I mean, the Valeyard is pretty much somewhere in the universe trying to stop the Doctor. Obviously, seen in the Trial of the Time Lord from the 6th Doctor. So, yeah, there we go. But I think we have a lot of different things yet to talk about. So speaking of the surprise twist, Russell T Davies adds Billy once changed the whole of television back in 2005, and now she's done it again. It's none and a hoot to welcome her back to the TARDIS, but quite how and why and who is a story yet to be told. After 62 years, the Doctor's adventures are only just beginning. I think this is, I think he's brushing his ego a bit, because I don't think he planned this. He said, but not quite how and why and who, and, is a story yet to be told. I don't think he has his plans yet. I think he already wrote like a couple of episodes for season 3, obviously. But if you use those episodes with Billy Piper, it's not going to be the same. So I think he's going to change a few things. And yeah, I guess Billy Piper, if Rusty Davis already has written these episodes, I think Billy Piper might have the same characteristics and personality as Shooty Gat was Doctor. And maybe that's a bit sad because you already planned on Shooty being the role in season 3. It didn't work out, obviously. And the Doctor Who has already begun, and I think the brand new era is pretty much where we're now in, I guess. With Chuty's Gatwa's Doctor, like Doctor Who has never been such a mess before. Obviously, I don't think the show will be at a 16-year hiatus, but if that were to happen, and I don't think it will happen, trust me, I don't think it will, because BBC already knows that the show was much too popular for that. That obviously they'll need to adapt to this certain environment of streaming services, and I think with a bit more planning and a bit more tactic, thinking, I think the show might go on for at least like a lot of years, like 10 years. I don't think Rusty Davis will be there in 10 years, but I hope Doctor Who will be back maybe in the future after we've heard news of the war between the land and the sea. I'm not quite sure. We'll need to wait and see. Speaking of a return, Billy said, "It's no secret how much I love the show, and I have always said I would love to return to the universe as I have some of the best memories there. So to be given the opportunity to step back on the TARDIS one more time was just something I couldn't refuse." But who, how, why, and when, you'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, I guess that's the same reply as Rusty Davis. So, yeah, that's interesting. But, like, to step back on the TARDIS one more time, she might be staying for a couple of seasons. She might be staying for a special or so. But that's interesting. That's really interesting. All right, there's this leaking Andrew guy, and he says, "I've heard, and I also suspect this myself, that Russell T. Davis casting Billy was a way to increase the audience interest. A bit like casting Tennant as 14, and hopefully then making the show more appealing to Disney. BBC a bit concerned currently about how they're going to continue on the show themselves. Lots of scrambling going on. Nothing is confirmed. No, I think Billy saw it more of a favor to Russell than anything. She's happy to do a special or series, but it is also fine to just film a quick something in an attempt to help out the show, even if it ends up being no use. Russell went straight to Billy. She didn't have to audition or anything. All happened very quickly. I don't think Russell knows why she has Rose's face yet. Most of season 3 was written with Shooty in mind, so don't expect 16 to be too different. There were a few alternate takes of Billy's first lines. I was hoping for a bit more edge, but all gave me Jodie vibes, I guess, yeah. Everything a unit after the Belinda Doctor and Ruby scene, which was also heavily reworked reshoots, was reshot, as well as the garden and Belinda's house scene and the stuff with 13, obviously. They're not going to admit that Shooty leaving after 2 seasons wasn't always the plan, because that would mean admitting that season 3 was delayed because season 1 didn't do as well as they initially hoped, which Russell will never do. He will never say it. Obviously, the guy will never say that. I think it's also his favorite show, and I don't think as a showrunner you're not going to say, well, you know what, the show is a bit it wasn't really well received, so we're not going to make a season 3. It's harsh because Doctor Who has been around for 60 years, and he also made a comment, well, you know what, I would love to see a new take, or like a new writer for Doctor Who, but when and how, I'm not quite sure when, but I would love to see it. So I don't think he has a lot of faith and hope for the future, and I don't think it's going to be with him, but I think season 3 might obviously be released in a couple of years, but I think changes will be made. Changes will be made, obviously. Alright, but the next one, and I suppose the last one, Leaker Andrew explains Billy Piper's casting. So, yeah, this casting is very interesting. Yes, casting Billy was a very last minute decision. Around the time the Robot Revolution was airing, they were still planning to go with the cliffhanger regeneration. But don't think the casting of 16 indicates or confirms a renewal for season 3 with 16 in it. It seems more like a stunt casting to round off RTD2 and kind of wrap up the new Who era by bringing it full circle. Yes, I suppose so. I think, and hear me out. I think if Billie Piper returns, obviously circling back to Rose Tyler, and after Billie Piper, I think, yeah, I think the future is pretty much unsure. Like the future now is unsure, but I think after Billie Piper has a series or specials, I think the writing and the creative control of the series is going to be very different. Like I think new writers will be introduced and a new showrunner. I think Stephen Moffat, Chris Chibnall, and Russell T Davies are not going to be in it. I think that's for the best, right? Um, I suppose new people need to see, Doctor Who in a different light. Not going to focus on the Gallifrey and the Time Lord's origin. Just focus on new stories, new characters, new villains, and just have great stories. Like now, the main emphasis was the story building. Like Russell T Davies had his entire season 1, where he actually needed to explain the secrets of Ruby Sunday, but that didn't work out. Like the twist was not really there. Like now season 2, it was Omega was gone in 2 minutes. Like it doesn't make sense, and I think new people should helm the series. Yeah, I suppose that's pretty much it. Like I have some irritations and I just want to talk about it. Maybe you guys know more than I do, but yeah, expect more Doctor Who videos coming up, because now it's really an interesting time to be a Doctor Who fan. Like the show is quite unsure, but like still we have so much to look forward to. Like we have the Unleashed episode, the 20th anniversary. By the time you're watching this, it will probably be online or pretty much broadcast, so I'll talk about that too if it were to release on YouTube, obviously that is. But because I don't live in Great Britain, I live in Belgium. But anyway, that's a bit too much information. But you know what? It's okay, because I think Doctor Who is one of the greatest science fiction shows ever. I think it's one of the greatest shows ever. Like, you know what? It's my favorite show, but it means so much to me, and I think the show must go on, obviously. Like, it has survived 62 years. It must survive another 62 years. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will check you later. Goodbye, everyone. Or should I say, allons-y.